So this brings us into what is discipline and what do we need discipline for? I think the linguists and the grammar specialists might now cringe when I say this, but I think the root of the word discipline is actually the word disciple. So when we discipline, we want to make a learner a disciple. I think the question will be now, a disciple of what? My answer is, I want to make him a disciple of a value system that is internalized, entrenched in his whole life approach, his life view, his world view, and that he will always be a follower of that value system. So in discipline, I think in effective, constructive discipline, I want to see that we teach that learner a value, that he will learn that value, he will internalize that value so that it becomes part of his life, so that he can live a disciplined life that will lead to a meaningful and fulfilled life. So discipline is much more than punishing for wrong behavior. Actually, James Dobson, that I think is one of the gurus of child education, the theory of it, said that for every time that I punish a child for something wrong, I should have encouraged him 4 times for something that he did right. And I think we need to change our whole view and perception of discipline to understand discipline is not about what is right or wrong. It's about learning a behavior, internalize it so that they live a fulfilled life even when I'm not there, when the educator is not there. I remember one day I attended a sports meeting between 2 very good, well-disciplined, well-known schools, and both of them was on 2 pavilions, and I was across the field and I saw these 2 schools, and it was such a great experience to see them dressed in their school uniforms, and everything they did on that pavilion was excellent. The way they sang and encouraged their sportsmen, and everything was just super. I went closer to them, and I ended up standing between the 2 pavilions, and it was time for them to sing their school songs. And when it was the specific school's turn, I was close enough to hear the words of the songs. And actually, what I heard was not the words that was printed on their school code. It was totally different. It was swear words, it was words and concepts that I cannot talk about or mention in a good conversation. But I was thinking, they have this image of well-disciplined school, but actually the value that they learned was a value of pretend. I pretend I'm doing this, but actually I'm doing that. So there's a value of rebelliousness, a value of not respecting authority, there's a value of not conforming, and even a value of pretending. And I was thinking, they might look like discipline from afar, from a distance, but where would this end if they keep on doing that as workers, as leaders of society, as part of a family, and they do this by pretend, and you start thinking of those values and you understand, but then they've missed the point. So we're not here today to talk about behavior modification. I think our discipline systems and codes in our schools and organizations for a long time has focused on behavior modification. And actually on, this is the wrong behavior, let's change the behavior. And we do this by punish wrong behavior. So we focus all our energy on identifying wrong behavior and punish it, and hope that when we change the behavior, that the value would follow. And now and then there will be a chocolate or a recognition for somebody that did a good deed. I'm not talking about that. Discipline means I want to establish a value system so that I can determine future behavior. And the learner must become a follower of that value system. This is what it's all about. So I want to say today that discipline is a broad concept, and punishment and behavior modification might be a small part of it, about 20%. What do we do? Are we taking up the challenge to really looking at the broader spectrum and encouraging and acknowledging good value system, good values and good behavior, or are we only focusing on behavior modification of wrong behavior?